G'day, this is Mike from Red20RC and this is the long-awaited part 5 of Project Get Good at Flying Mini Quads. So it's been a while since I did part 4 and a lot has changed since then. I got a bit of the ump with the old mini quad scene, and I wanted to spend more time on the wings, and I just stopped flying mini quads for a while. But you know, I've been and saw a couple of races with Newcastle FPV, and I've kind of got the itch again. So I started doing a bit of flying. But things, yeah, like I say, things have changed, and I'll tell you about those first. So the first thing that changed is who do I want to be like? I said back at the start that, you know, I really liked Schizo, Jonathan Davis, his style of flying, and that's what I was going to model myself on. Now this is no reflection on Schizo, he's still a really good pilot, but I don't want to fly like him anymore. To be honest, one of the reasons why I got the hump with the whole thing is that I was just getting cross with the whole, oh, I've got to have this colour propeller because this is what so-and-so uses, and I've got to use this motor because this is what so-and-so uses, and I've got to use this frame because this is what so-and-so won this race with. So I want to fly like me. I want to fly like Red20 flies. And the only way I'm going to find that out is by flying and seeing what I enjoy. Certainly I've been flying a bit with a bigger 450 frame, and I found that I like flying a multi-rotor almost like a wing. I like flying nice and smooth, big long lines, big long curves, things like that. So we'll see where it goes. The second thing that's changed is what I'm flying. Way back at the start I had selected a mere half a dozen frames or something that I was going to be flying, and the truth was I had shelves of them that I had built because of Red20. We had lots of prototypes going, and I put motors and flight controls in all of them, and the problem was every time I went flying I flew each frame once, and I never got to spend time getting used to any one frame. So I sold them all. Most of my already built quads have now gone. Don't get confused by this one, this is a custom build for somebody else. So what I am flying now is only my design, the R220 Evo. And that is, for the rest of this series, the only quad that I'm going to fly. And I'm going to spend plenty of time with it. I'm spending a bit of money on it to get it more high spec. And yeah, and I'm going to focus on just one quad, and I'm going to get good at flying that one. You know, there will be others coming in from time to time, but you know, I am now a one quad boy. Of course, that quad can't be here today because last time I came out with it, I crashed it. So the other thing I've done is I've looked at how I'm flying FPV. I was falling into the same hype as everybody else, and going, must put more tilt on my camera. And I was going like this, and like this, and like this, and like this, and like this. And as a result, what I was doing is I was going faster and faster and faster, and smack. All I was doing was crashing all the time because I was just out of my comfort zone. So what I've done is I've taken the R220 back to, God, it must be only about 7 degrees tilt. You know, I'm flying like an Anna. but it's given me time to think, and it's given me time to practice and process what's going on, because I'm not that young anymore. So yeah, so to make it easier for noobs to follow the series, there's no point in me hurtling around at 1,000 miles an hour missing everything. It's going to be much better if I slow it up and you know, focus on my precision. So episode 5 in the series was always supposed to be about flying FPV. So let's talk about FPV. Now, I'm not going to talk about setup. There's plenty of good articles out there about which camera you should use and which goggles you should use. It's all personal taste. Do your research, find out what you like, and give it a go. Yeah, just and probably the best advice I can give with FPV gear is buy the best that you can afford. Things particularly like your goggles and things like that, stuff that's gonna go with you through your FPV career. So it's worth spending that little bit more and getting something good. When it comes to things like video transmitters, think about what sort of flying you want to be doing. If you want to be going out longer range, we'll only talk about 5.8 really, but if you want to be going out a bit further, we'll be looking at sort of like 400, 600 milliwatt transmitters. If you want to race, then a lot of places now are limiting you to a maximum of 200, 250 milliwatts. And I know the local races here at Newcastle, you can only fly if you're running 25 milliwatts. So yes, there's no point getting all set up with your 600 milliwatt transmitter on your quad and then learning how to fly with that and getting used to it and then going to a race and finding that you can't participate. So decide what you want to do and find out what you need to do it from the outset, and it will save sadness later on. So yeah, and so we've been talking about camera tilt, and through various trial and error I found out what my problem was. I could put quite a bit of tilt on the camera and it would make me fly fast, and it's quite obvious why this happens. Your brain always wants to keep the horizon in the middle. So if your camera is pointing just a few degrees up, you're going to pitch the quad just a little bit to keep the horizon in the middle, and you're going to travel nice and steadily. If you've got it pointing 45 degrees in the air, you're going to put the quad like that, it's going to travel a lot faster. You know, it's just basic physics. Now, I don't want to go into huge complexities about how camera tilt works and how it affects the controls and all this sort of thing. What I will do is I will put a link in the article to a YouTube channel run by a chap called Josh Bardwell, I think his name is, and he is awesome. He's a whiz at all this physics and electronic stuff, and he explains it much better than I ever will be able to. So what I discovered then was that because I was running more and more tilts, like 30 degrees plus, it was making me fly pretty fast, but as soon as I tried to hit any small gaps or proximity or fly through gates, I was smacking into them. Now, another thing I'm doing is I'm trying to teach myself to fly pinch. Because I'm a long time radio control fixed wing pilot, I was always taught to fly mode 2 thumbs, because we were standing in film with a buddy box, and that's the way we all learnt in those days. So I'm going to teach myself to fly pinch. It's going pretty well actually. The first attempt to do that, it was awful, but I'm getting better. I must say that what I have done is I bought myself that liftoff simulator, which is, I've never been a big fan of the simulators, and I still find I'm pretty awful at flying it. But as a training tool for muscle memory, I'm finding it very good for learning the pinch, or at least a hybrid pinch I'm using with sort of like the thumbs and the fingers. And the past couple of flights that I've done using this grip, and I've actually found that I do have much more feel and much more control over where the copter's going. So yeah, so that's my take on how I'm going to fly FPV. If you are starting out, if you're an absolute noob, then things to remember are know the area that you're flying, have someone with you as a spotter, especially if there's a chance that you're going to go out of sight or that members of the public are going to come into your flying area, and Gotta say, one thing that everybody must do, put a beeper on your flight controller. If you're using the naves, it's very easy to do. You just hook it up to a spare channel and set it as a mode in the flight modes tab, and that way, you know, if these things drop in anything more than about 12 inches of grass, they are gone. They bury themselves. Even if you think you know where it went down, it can sometimes take hours to find them. You've got a beeper on there. As long as the battery's still connected, it takes seconds. That is probably the best thing I can say is put a beeper on. I guess that's probably it for this episode, article, whatever you want to call it. And next time I think we're actually going to look at flying FPV low level and starting to hit those gates with a bit of accuracy. But for now, I need to go and rebuild my R220 and get some practice in on liftoff. Till next time.